And welcome to Corner Class Tampa. We are live, and this show is really a show all about how we have progressed in the COVID era. It's been a year that the Corner Class has been on air. It's been a great year. We're going to have some expert contributors and friends of the show drop by. We're going to talk about where they are, what they've done in over the past year, and how had COVID affected them. COVID has been very very traumatic, a tragedy actually, globally wide. But there are some positives that did come from COVID. A lot of companies are really rethinking how they do business. A lot of people are reevaluating their life. There have been a lot of some positives that come out of COVID, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the show, some personal things. Got a lot of stuff in store for you. So if you are interested in celebrating with us for our 1 year anniversary and getting some nuggets from the pandemic and how you can shift in a positive way, stay tuned. See you on the other side. Welcome back. Okay, so let me go ahead without further ado. I'm going to add Ann. Ann, welcome to the show.
It's wonderful to be here, David. Thank you.
Now, Ann, it's been a little while since you've been on the show. So again, what have you been up to? Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what have you been up to lately?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm a real estate broker. My specialty is focusing on commercial real estate. In the year, I did obtain my master's in international real estate.
Whoa.
Also from FIU, go Panthers.
All right, we're going to let you off the show now. Hey, go Bulls.
Don't hate. Also, I was nominated and voted in to serve the Greater Tampa Realtors as a director, and that is a position that I hold so dearly in serving our real estate family and the community. So that's new as well. Attended lots of conferences and workshops on this very subject. As we're talking today, how COVID has affected the way we do business, has affected our mindset, and should have most of us rethinking a lot of areas of our lives, personal and professionally, and also physically, how we take care of ourselves.
Right. So, and you're right. There's been a lot of study, a lot of people that are looking at how COVID affect us and how the global shutdown affect us short term and long term. I'm curious about were there anything that you've done over the past year as a direct result of COVID? Your business practices change. I know that you mentioned that you actually were able to, and congratulations, were able to join GTAR's board. That's pretty awesome. I want to know more about that and how you're helping realtors. And this is an investment show, so how that can tie into investment. But also, what have you had to rethink about because of COVID?
Okay. So one of the things I failed to mention is I'm also a real estate instructor. And in 2015, I opened a real estate school and later put it on hold to go back and pursue my master's. As we're moving forward, the real estate market, began to which was amazing to me, really boom. No one knew what was going to happen when we was first introduced to the pandemic and how we needed to shift our lives. As I'm looking at commercial and real estate and how it is so busy, volatile. There's no lack there, with the exception of a tremendous amount of demands, which is not an exception, but a tremendous amount of demands. So there's the real estate component. Now there's the education component. And I start there because as we're opening the real estate school, Pine International School of Real Estate, I learned from the last shutdown in the market between 2008 and 2011 that if our real estate and mortgage market shut down, we do not have students that wants to go into that profession. But that's not what we're experiencing now. We're experiencing a lot of activity in the market. So this is a prime time to now educate individuals who would like to know more about real estate and how to invest in real estate and how to get their license. So even if they're not going to work as a real estate professional licensee, they at least have the knowledge to make wise decisions when it comes to investment opportunities that are out there. With that being said, one of the things I've learned and was able to pull out what I think is a nugget as a result of COVID is that on a global scale, we had to embrace virtuality, employing that as a common everyday platform in our lives, again, personally and professionally. In addition to that, AI is extremely important in being embraced. So we need to not fight against technology, the virtual world, and just say we're not going to deal with anything related to AI. That's not realistic. As I move forward in the business plan of the school, Pine International Real Estate, I consulted with a mentor, and one of the things he encourages, keep overhead low. So I tweaked that, being that we're now moving toward more of a virtual platform. Instead of entering into leases with locations all over, because of being able to offer courses online, just makes it more sense, and would help with the revenues as well as the convenience for the students and for those who are interested in pursuing a real estate career or just getting information on how to invest. So that was something that I had to tweak as a result of the pandemic, which is just wonderful. I mean, it's not just it's so many businesses that are considering whether or not they're going to bring employees back into the brick and mortar.
So I guess this is full disclosure time. Since we're talking about schools, I want to circle back around. You are going to be able to be teaching. It's going to be a new school opening up, Pine International School of Real Estate, where real estate professionals can actually get their licensing and the degrees to become a professional real estate agent. In addition to that, investors can learn how to invest in the Florida real estate market, correct?
Absolutely. And once again, because it's virtual and we're utilizing all of the technology to have us reach across the globe, anyone interested in investing, not just in the Florida market, because Pine International School of Real Estate is just that, international. So we are able to co-broke with other brokerage throughout. And as clients are coming to us, if it's not Tampa, it's Georgia, it's another state, through our co-brokering, we're able to partner up and meet the needs of those investors.
You know, I think most people know that you are a seasoned. I call you. I think of you as the teachers and instructor, right?
Oh,
someone who is like just master top of your game, and you taught me the tricks of the trade. I actually got my license under your tutorage, correct? All those many years ago. We're gonna say it's only been a couple of years though, right?
Yeah, let's just say that.
So I know that Pine International School of Real Estate, which we are partners, will be very, very successful under your helm. And I think that it's a great opportunity for people to learn how to play the real estate game and not get in trouble, because one bad deal can ruin all of your profits if you're an investor, or you can lose your license.
Absolutely. Much to lose by not getting the education and the knowledge. The other thing to add is, and as David mentioned, we are partners. We're both very passionate, not just about the education, but also the mentoring. I always say, don't practice on the people. So once you come to our school, we're going to hold your hands. We're going to make sure that you get everything that you need to understand the code of ethics, to understand the different personalities, how to work with the various clients and their needs, and ask the right questions so that you are addressing the needs of the client and getting the hands-on training that's needed. And David, you remember when you were in pre-sales, one of the things we did was we left the school and we went over to it was a townhouse being sold in Ybor City.
Right.
And we actually did hands-on, where we actually looked at the listing, came back, and we applied how to prepare a CMA and really dissected that. And that's what you're going to get from Panay International School of Real Estate, that I believe it's not offered in many other courses, where it is hands-on and field trips and mentorship.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And here's the funny thing is that CMA preparation, those techniques that we learned then, I'm using right today. I'm teaching my guys exactly how to do that. And we come, while no one knows what an appraiser is going to do, it may be high, it may be low, but it gets us, most of the time I'm right on, on spot on with the appraisal within a couple of thousand off, plus or minus. So, I mean, it's a pleasure. It's my dream to partner with you on this project, because we are passionate about, training the next agent or the next investor. That's our passion. And so we're able to do that. Speaking about that, let's bring our man in the field. Man in the field. Rodney.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
it is going well. It's going well. So it's been a while since we've seen you, man.
Yeah. I'm the man in the car today.
Now, you have actually been working with a lot of investors, but let's find out a little bit about what you've done over the field, and it has over the year, and has that been affected by COVID, positively or negative?
Oh yeah. What a year it's been. It's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of misinformation. So one of my deals that I got at the beginning of COVID, it was this couple. They were looking for a place. They were living in a hotel, so they needed a place real bad. So we found the condo, and I've talked with this lady, and this was when the pandemic first started. I talked with the seller and the agent, no problem. So I decided, hey, I'm going to be safe. So when my buyers came, my buyers didn't have a mask. The seller didn't have a mask, but I had a mask. And when the seller opened the door and seen me with a mask on, she thought I had the bubonic plague. Her face looked like a ghost. And everything I touched, she was wiping it down with bleach. I was like, I thought I was trying to be safe. So that was the beginning of the pandemic, when it was a lot of, misinformation. And so that's a little story of the beginning of COVID for me. So we so that was the start of my experience with COVID. It was a little rocky. A lot of people thought that the real estate market it did slow down at the time. But then once those interest rates went down, oh my goodness, it's skyrocketed. I had plenty of buyers. We was putting in a lot of offers, and it was a lot of other buyers that's putting in a lot of offers as well to this small inventory that we had in the housing market. So it has been a crazy year.
Yeah, and so you're focusing in on investors as well as in standard buyers, right? That's buying single family homes.
Yes, that is definitely that is correct. I had one investor. We just closed on about a month ago on a quadplex, and it was a great deal in a great location. Um, so that worked out well. We're currently closing on another property
Now,
that she's going to
now,
use.
Rodney, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Okay,
Rodney, don't be shy. You closed or under contract over $1 million in the last 30 days.
that's correct. Yes.
Okay, and so in the COVID era, so that is pretty doggone impressive. So I want to give you, I want to make sure that we put it out there to our audience is that a lot of people didn't shift, didn't take the precautions that you're mentioning, and because of that, they are not taking advantage of opportunities that present themselves because in every crisis there's an opportunity, and even if you have to kind of rethink what you're doing, there are opportunities in today's market. Do you feel that to be true?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when it's a crisis. Like it's time. Like the interest rates was low. It was time. It was a great time to capitalize on the opportunity to buy a home.
Now tell us about the deals that you have you've actually closed and what you have pending.
Okay. So the quadplex that turned out a fantastic deal in a great area. So for those that don't know, a quadplex is four units. Um, 4 units. So three of them was remodeled. So we had one that was not remodeled. That was going for $750. All the other units was renting for $800 at the time. So one of the units was empty. So she told me she got a person in there, and the rent is $975 for that one unit when she thought it was going to be just $800 only. Like that was, a nice increase in cash flow. Because
That's awesome.
those units, they can realistically go for $1,000 a month because of the area. It is a 1 bedroom, but is in a great area. So that property can cash flow pretty nicely. The other units that I have closing, investor is in the Seminole Heights area. Those that familiar with Seminole Heights is a great area. So this one is going to be an Airbnb. She's getting the opportunity to do the Airbnb, and with the Tampa Bay, Tampa Buccaneers, the Devil Rays, the Lightning. We the city of champions. So it's going to be a great Airbnb. It's not too far from any of those locations. The Bucks, the Lightning Stadium. So it's going to be a pretty good opportunity.
So is it fair to say that the pivot and your rethinking how you do business as a real estate agent and investor agent has been, once you got over the hump of COVID and how to to navigate it with the safety precautions and stuff. It's been pretty positive for you. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, yes. You do everything correct. You listen to what the CD says. You prepare yourself. You make sure that you have all your necessary equipment, face mask. I had my hand sanitizer. I had hand sanitizer for my clients, so everyone was being very safe.
Awesome. So we had Gilbert on, and he's going to be joining us shortly. But let's bring Ann back. Ann, a couple things for you. But we're going to talk a little bit with Gilbert because he's back on. I know that he has a bad connection. Let's bring him, and then we'll bring everyone back on. Gilbert, tell us all about it.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Well, good
Hey.
good afternoon. Well, glad to be back on. Glad to celebrate this milestone with Corner Class Tampa and the crew, some of the regulars here. We've seen some crazy transitions in both the mortgage market and the real estate market here in Tampa. We've seen rates down, rates up, rates down again, rates fluctuating day to day like they are right now. So now is a great time to be investing in buying and owning real estate. You're seeing property values increase, some of the lowest rates and lowest cost of entry we've seen in a very long time. So you guys put this together at the right moment to help people take advantage of the excellent market conditions they can get right now investing in real estate.
Right. And so not only are the market conditions prime, but lending, the lenders, even, hard money lenders, they're dropping their rates, right? For investors.
We're seeing very reasonable rates for investors, long-term buy and holds. I just quoted a guy this morning, a 4.25% rate on the debt service coverage loan, which means we're not verifying his income at all. We're just going to appraise the property and get a rent schedule, basically a rent estimate from the appraiser himself to say, hey, does this property support the payment? And if so, we can move forward. So that's a really, really good interest rate. I think the clients had about a 25% equity stake, but that's a really good interest rate on the super low, almost no documentation loan. Clients essentially bringing bank statements and the driver's license to document he has the assets to close, and we're doing an appraisal for him. So it can be very easy to get into some of the purchase and hold property. And David, you and I think just completed a fix and flip together, and that went very successfully. Sold over expected price, over market price with these market improvements. So it's the cost of entry is low, the cost to hold is low. Now is a good time to be financing real estate, to use what money you have, or I should say to leverage what money you have and use other people's money to get the property you want.
And we're talking about how COVID has changed, or how we have pivoted because of COVID. Outside of interest rates, and you mentioned that we partnered on a deal, and that was very successful. Your business, how has it pivoted or changed, if any, due to COVID?
Well, I would say that COVID is the crux of this rate drop, because prior to, we were seeing significant rate increases, right? So it's put so many clients in position. The sales training I did this morning with about 10 of our loan officers was specifically related to those loan officers taking advantage of the current market. So in our current, one thing I do more of now is I meet with clients over Zoom. But that's actually helped us to deliver more loans, because in meeting with clients over Zoom, we can do screen shares. I can show them how to download and upload documents, in particular, some of your less tech savvy clients, if they can figure out how to get to Zoom, which most of them have figured out to communicate with their jobs or with their family, estranged family during COVID, they are able to do that. And then we can show them how to, hey, this is how you download those bank statements instead of printing them and then scanning them in or faxing them. This is how you can access the IRS website to get tax returns or transcripts if you don't have your electronic copies available. Here's how you get your pay stubs from your employer. So we've actually, it's helped us in terms of processing loans through, but it's also helped us because of the market conditions brought on due to COVID. Now, we've seen some, and I mentioned this over the year, we've seen some tightening of guidelines related to verification of employment. Lenders want to verify when we're using income from employment to qualify you. They're doing verifications like 5 to 7 days before closing, sometimes a day of closing or a day before closing. They want to call and get a confirmation you haven't quit or been laid off or something like that. We're seeing a little bit more strict requirements for self-employed borrowers. In addition to banks, profit and loss statements, they want to see bank statements for self-employed borrowers to verify that the income that you're stating has come in is actually reasonably close to what is showing on your deposits into your business bank accounts. We've seen some of those restrictions, but we've kind of worked through those to deliver more loans this year than have ever been delivered before across the industry, right? And the topic that we've talked about the most in these last few sales trainings is clients who may have bought a house 3 years ago in our market in Tampa and in most parts of Florida are now in a position, even if they only put 5% down, to at a minimum get rid of their mortgage insurance if they've maintained or improved their credit. And secondly, we discussed, a number of homes that were purchased 3 years ago that are now in a position, even despite the original down payment being 3%, 5%, some of them VA loans with 0%, being in a position now to take cash out and pay off high interest debt, pay off credit card debts, or pay off home improvement loans like a pool loan or something like that. So there's equity to be taken advantage of. Honestly, one of the comments today, one of the scenarios we looked at, the client had about $96,000 in available equity and leaving 20% in their home, because you can only pull out cash out up to 80% on a standard mortgage, right? Leaving funds in their home or leaving equity in their home and pulling out enough money to buy an investment property cash. Now, I wouldn't recommend anybody investment property cash, but they were getting that much in terms of return back where they would be able to. But, the goal would be, and the conversation would be, let's leverage that and buy maybe 2 or 3 investment properties with other people's money, and leverage the cash we grabbed for a down payment on those 3. So, I mean, in terms of business, COVID has had an impact on the number of face-to-face meetings we've had, but it's really, I think, improved across the board people's tech savvy and made the ability to do business with a wide variety of folks, whether they're local or distant, and a great way to connect with folks because you can get them face-to-face, whether they're cell phone on Zoom or laptop on Zoom. You can get with them face-to-face and make a personal connection. Has improved significantly, markedly because of COVID.
Awesome. So let me bring Rodney in, and then we're going to bring Ann in a little bit. Rodney, I know that you have changed your practice. Are you doing more virtual showings or using more technology in your day-to-day working with investors and buyers, or has that been no change in your field?
Rodney, you're muted.
Go ahead, Rodney.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So for my out-of-state clients, I've been using the virtual FaceTime. But for anyone that's in the state, I have been showing properties. The technology, it has been fantastic, especially with social media. Like that has been a godsend. Even though some things I post, you never know who sees what. Right. One of my deals that I closed earlier this year, like it was a person that I know, but I haven't talked to this person in years. But when they were looking for a home, I was the go-to person for that.
That is so true, because you may not have a comment on every post, but that doesn't mean that people are not looking, right?
Yep, that's true.
So
That's true.
that is so true. They're saying that being an influencer is another form of currency now. It really is something that is really profitable and should be part of your business strategy. What do you think about that, Ann?
That is absolutely true. Absolutely. And as a result of us having to become more creative and work virtual, I think it makes things so much easier. Case in point, I think Gilbert mentioned it as well, of being able to Zoom and having family reunions and graduations where you're using the technology. But that means also you're able to share it. And if you are in the area where you want to brand yourself as an expert, it really solidifies your influence and being in that specialty area that you're in. Because it's not just the professional, but they see that you're a live person, you're a real person, sharing, like I said, family reunions, personal things, as well as sharing the knowledge of our field. So it just speaks to, this is someone I want to connect with, because people like to do business with people who they perceive are like them. And this virtual platform just really has taken us over the top. If anyone that's not using that is really shooting themselves in the foot.
Awesome. So outside of the negative things that are associated with COVID, there's a lot of death, there's a lot of pain. There's been a lot of transition for people that, no longer have a job, or the job is not coming back for whatever reason. Again, out of every tragedy, there are opportunities. For me, this show is a COVID reality. I never thought that Corner Class Tampa, guys, was supposed to be a show where I actually took a chair and an easel and went on a corner and started teaching real estate to people who don't have access to a quality real estate professional, or a professional that is a broker and kind of know what he's doing. And I was that was the plan, was literally to go to a corner, get in contact with the business owner, go to a corner and teach real estate to whomever in the community that would be willing to listen. Because of the COVID, we couldn't do that. We had social distancing and all that. So I decided to move the show, or move the training, online. And that was the reason why we're here for a year later, is that we couldn't do it in person, and we decided to do it online, and we have a much larger reach because of that. So yes, there's a lot of negatives going on, but there are some positives. You just got to really, focus on the positive aspects of whatever situation you're in, and not, focus on just the negative, what you cannot do. Figure out a way to do it, and figure out a way to go around it. So next show, we actually going to talk about all of the deals, all of the partnerships. We mentioned it here, and all of the other, some of our other associates, what they've done over the years, the deals that we've actually closed over the year, and how we use the training in Corner Class, partnering with people, the expert contributors that has been on the show, to make over 100 grand. So I will see you next time. And as always, I want to, again, focus on the positive. COVID is bad, but there are ways to pivot around that. And above all, you need to stay grinding. See you on the other side.